robots took my podcast, man.
Michael and Sam have just moved to Santa Carla, California. They're about to discover its secret.
Notice anything unusual about Santa Carla yet?
No. It's a pretty cool place. If you're a Martian.
Or a vampire.
When you're strange. When you're strange.
So where are you? The flying nun?
I'm your brother, Sammy. Help me!
Stay back! Stay back!
What's happening to me, Star? Get yourself a good sharp steak. Drive it right through his heart.
You're a vampire, Michael. My own brother, a damn blood-sucking vampire.
Oh, you wait till Mom finds out, buddy.
When a vampire buys it, it's never a pretty sight.
Michael, they're coming! Oh, shit!
Come on, Anthony. Drink. Drink some. Be one of us.
I want.
By the way, how are your maggots? You're eating maggots, Anthony.
What? Oh. This podcast is made of maggots.
I'm sorry.
How
How
dare
about you, you try my noodles. Maybe they'll be better. Except they're worms, Anthony.
Oh,
You're eating
my God.
worms, Anthony. How are your worms?
That was just my cooking, Jordan.
That's what
just
I
my
like about
cooking,
this
dude.
podcast, Anthony. You ask what you get for.
This podcast is made of worms. It's worms.
Okay, well, I'll probably have more little cute jokes all throughout the podcast, just randomly popping up, I'm sure.
You're full of cute jokes. That's what we appreciate about you, Jordan. That's why we keep you around.
Oh, thank you. All right, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, kick us off. Welcome to our podcast. The robots took my podcast. I am Jordan.
And I'm Anthony.
Anthony, I'm so excited about this movie we're talking about. What movie are we talking about? Yay.
We are talking about a little film from the 1980s. Since it's Halloween time, Jordan, and I don't know if everyone will be listening to this at Halloween, but maybe for the duration of, if you're listening to this in like July, maybe it will be Halloween for the remainder of this episode. But today we are talking about The Lost Boys, an 80s, some would say classic.
Wait, it's coming on. It's coming out of me. I still believe.
That's right. I still believe that we talked about this movie in a prior episode, Jordan. Do you recall what episode?
That's
we
right.
talked about
With
it?
our guest from his YouTube channel, etc., Sean Clark, who had actually been to one of the locations, many of the locations, actually almost all the locations of Lost Boys.
Yeah.
And he's a big fan of the Lost Boys, and he started off even his YouTube video with his impression of I Still Believe from the song
Yeah.
that is sang live in the movie at one point, which is a cover from an Australian band called The Call. Actually, it's a cover of an actual song by them called I Still Believe.
Wow.
Interesting.
Didn't change the title or anything. Yeah, that is a fun fact. What's also fun is this movie was released in 1987. It's directed by Joel Schumacher. And what was do you remember the last movie, Joel Schumacher movie that we talked about on this podcast?
We talked about St. Elmo's Fire.
Yes, we did.
Yet another Joel Schumacher directed movie.
Yeah, that was a Brat Pack movie, so to speak. So would you call this a Brat Pack movie also?
No, because there's no Emilio Estevez, Andrew McCarthy, or Molly Ringwald, or James Spader, or Robert Downey Jr.
You're a Brat Pack purist, I see. Okay, fair enough.
I am.
Fair
I'm
enough.
sorry. Well,
Kiefer Sutherland does not.
maybe
does not a Brat Pack make?
Maybe Kiefer Sutherland is. Maybe because of Kiefer Sutherland being in there, it's a Brat Pack movie. I don't know. Is he a part of the Brat Pack? Do you think?
I don't know. He's Brat Pack adjacent. He's very close.
He's kind of skirting the edge there with Young Guns. I mean,
yeah,
because there's an Estevez and a Sheen in that movie. I'm
Yeah,
just saying. I don't know.
I know. Okay, I guess it doesn't pass the Estevez test. All right, fine. Anyway,
Maybe
so
this movie is Brat Pack adjacent. Yes, I would actually call it. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be that way.
it's definitely a Vamp Pack movie, and you mentioned it has a very interesting soundtrack.
Oh yeah, killer soundtrack. I mean, everybody is on this. NXS is on this soundtrack, and I still believe.
So Jared McMahon.
No, that he sings the title song, doesn't he? Or am I wrong?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He
Cry
sings,
Little Sister.
Cry Little Sister. No, but he doesn't sing I Still Believe. I forgot who sings that song. Anyway.
Oh, that is well. We'll talk about talk about that and more as we get into this movie, but definitely a very popular movie. I loved this movie as a kid. I don't know how many times I've seen this. How many times do you think you've seen this movie, Jordan?
Man, I think I've seen this at least 20 some times, maybe.
Wow.
20 times maybe. I saw this first when it actually was in second run in 1987. I saw it around the same time of year when it was at a drive-in. And I was
How the hell did, once again, I'm going to call CPS retroactively on your parents. This is a rated R movie. How, anyway, never mind. Another grandpa. Maybe, Jordan, you're a vampire and you've been alive for 100 years. I don't know.
I do party all night and sleep all day. That's true.
That is true.
And I find jobs that are night jobs so I can sleep all day. So you might have some truth to that, Anthony. But you can't deny what you are, Anthony. You cannot deny. Oh, sorry.
But okay. So, anyways,
no, I've seen this movie and then I saw it on cable a bunch of times. My God, I just never.
You just never grew up, Jordan?
Could get enough. I never did grow up. No, much like the title of this movie and the Peter Pan reference. Yes, I mean, Lost Boys is such a simple, entertaining film.
Why did you pick this for us this Halloween season?
Because this movie does hold a place in my heart. Like I said, I saw it all the way as a little kid. It has such a simple plot to it, and it's easy to follow. And I mean, almost so easy, I wish it had something more to it sometimes at the end of the movie. But, and it just says, it has a lot of likable characters. I mean, I have a little brother. This movie is about two brothers, I came from a broken home where my parents got divorced. And later on, I could relate to this movie even more so in that respect because it's, two boys and a mom.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Just on a personal level. And yeah, the soundtrack is just so damn awesome still. I mean, yeah, Gerald McMahon, Cry Little Sister. I still believe. Yeah.
Okay, well.
Been in a cave 40 nights, 40 days. Oh, sorry.
So.
Yeah. And it's got a great, beautiful cast. I mean, it's about the sexiest vampire movie too, in that respect. I mean, it's got the sexiest vampires in the history of vampire movies, and there have been over 200 movies in the history of vampire films.
Sexier than like The Hunger?
Well, they're close, I will say. Close, almost up there. Forget Twilight. Lost Boys, the vampires in Lost Boys are the sexiest. I don't care what those Twilight fans say. No, I will argue with all of them on this one.
Sexier than all those True Blood vampires, or
okay, well maybe on that level, maybe close, maybe on the same level. Okay, now we're getting technical, so I didn't think about that maybe ahead of time. But
sexier than Anne Rice vampires.
Okay, well, Interview the Vampire. Yeah, there was some sexy vampires there. Interview the Vampire. But I mean, come on. I mean, these are rock and roll by comparison to all these.
Rock and roll.
So rock and roll, man.
You're right.
Look at the way they dress. It's classic,
Yeah, let's rock and roll into this movie. Jordan, how does this film begin?
We are flying over coastal water. The camera flies up into, we see this amusement park on the upon the coastal. We dissolve in closer and we're on a carousel. And we meet the Lost Boys themselves at this point. We see Kiefer Sutherland. We see long-haired, beautiful Billy Wirth, dark-haired Billy Wirth. And then we see Brooke McCarter and his teased blonde hair. And we see Alex Winter and his curly locks. And we see they're all wearing leather jackets. They all look badass. And they're going around this carousel. And they start messing with two of the patrons on the carousel, this couple. They start messing with the blonde, like flirting with her in an inappropriate way. And of course, the boyfriend doesn't like it. And suddenly a fight kind of breaks out. The security guard comes over. He takes his nightstick, puts it over Kiefer's neck. David, the vampire David, as we will come to know him as. And he says, I told you to stay off the boardwalk. And Kiefer backs down. David backs down. Says, you heard him, boys. Let's go.
Very good.
The fight is broken up. And the carousel keeps spinning.
Yeah.
And then later on, OMG, we're flying over the parking lot. And this is the vampire's POV as we're seeing.
Yeah.
And the security guard that broke up the fight earlier is attacked. And we don't see anything but the POV of him being attacked, which is really kind of creepy. And he can't even get into his car because we swoop down right upon him and take him away into the night. And he swooped away in the night.
And just 2 days before retirement. That sucks, man.
Yeah, too bad. Before he was going to retire as a security guard for that company that the boardwalk rents or whatever. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Who's Kiefer Sutherland, real quick?
Kiefer Sutherland, son of Donald Sutherland. I can't remember his mother, who was also, I think, an actress. But Canadian actor Kiefer Sutherland, born in Canada. He was also in Stand By Me right before this movie, which he had gotten acclaim for. So we were all excited to see him by this point. When we saw him in the trailer for this movie, we're like, hey, that's the blonde-haired dangerous guy from Stand By Me.
And we also talked about him previously in a movie.
At Close Range, was it?
At Close Range.
Where he briefly shows up kind of in the background more.
Yeah.
Apparently, too, that movie, At Close Range, is what made Joel Schumacher cast him. He saw him at the end with his hair dyed a different color black, even though we end up seeing him blonde in this movie again. But he saw his hair black at the end of that movie, and he said, that's the guy I need for this movie to play David in Lost Boys. But that is the way Joel Schumacher always seems to cast people, by seeing their face first and imagining them, right down to Batman even.
And he's really good at playing sort of this punk asshole leader of the pack sort of vampire douche.
He looks dangerous, right? Doesn't he?
Yeah.
And the way he leads his posse here of the Lost Boys and the other guys, they all look dangerous, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely a sense of foreboding. These are no good guys.
And that just sets up a great sense of threatening setting at the beginning of this movie with this kill and everything.
It's ominous.
So we go into the credits, yes.
Yeah, and well, who are the Lost Boys? Are these the Lost Boys, or is it Michael who we meet him in it?
Or is it all the missing kids that have disappeared because of the vampires in Santa Carlos?
Or is it the Frog Brothers who we'll meet in a while? I don't know. Let's see if we can answer that question at the end of the episode. Who are the Lost Boys? The titular Lost Boys. Anyway, so yeah, and then we get this awesome music cue.
Yeah, we meet Diane Wiest playing the mom. Diane Wiest, who just came off of winning an Oscar for Hannah and Her Sisters, and she's driving with her boys, Jason Patric, Michael, and Sam, Corey Haim.
And she wants to do a vampire movie.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing. They offered her this vampire movie right after, and Joel Schumacher thought she would say no, and to his delight, she said yes.
Yeah.
Probably because she's not turning down any work at that point after getting an Oscar wisely.
Yeah, you don't ask, you don't get. Yeah. And Oscar winners strike while the iron's hot.
But yeah, we meet them in the car. They're on the way to their destination, which we'll find out. But yeah, this is where we meet the city, Santa Carla, over the title scene, which is People Are Strange, cover by Echo and the Bunnymen, with Ray Manzarek from The Doors actually playing the organ on the song.
Ooh. That is a juicy tidbit. That's a fun fact.
And this is a rockin' cover of People Are Strange, I will say.
I like
Echo
it.
and the Bunnymen, who also is known for another vampire-themed song, The Killing Moon, which was in the movie Donnie Darko at the beginning. The original theatrical cut. Anyway.
And Jason Patric, right off of Solar Babies.
Jason Patric, right off of Solar Babies. And,
of Solar Babies fame, and did a movie, The Beast, which we promise has been requested. We will talk about at some point.
Oh yeah, by an actual listener suggested.
An actual listener.
But yeah, talented, serious actor Jason Patric, who apparently had to be convinced to do this movie because he thought it was just a vampire exploitation schlocky movie. And he's a serious actor, this guy. He comes from an acting family. His father was, Jason, what's his face from The Exorcist? Jason Miller from The Exorcist.
Yeah.
Who played the father, the priest in The Exorcist, another horror film.
Playwright. I mean, just an American treasure, Jason Miller.
Yeah. Interesting that we get these two actors going head to head in this movie, and they come from acting families,
Yeah. His mom was Linda Gleason, daughter of Jackie Gleason. So, yeah.
That's right. Talk about
nepotism at work.
Talk about nepotism. Jeez. And he's like, what, 17 or 18 when he makes this movie? About the same age as Kiefer Sutherland.
Nepo baby, but really a talented actor who I think probably should have had a bigger career. I mean, not that he wasn't a working actor, but I don't know.
I think he was very selective about what he chose. Maybe. Possibly.
Maybe too selective.
Maybe too selective.
And you mentioned Corey Haim, Sam, the younger brother.
Corey
dreamy, like Jason Patrick, Michael is dreamy, and the even dreamier younger brother is Corey Haim. Says
my God, they're just they're both
inner
beautiful.
80s high school girl.
Yeah, and oh my God, every girl back then in the 80s, people have no idea. The two Coreys were the crushes back then, especially the Haim part of the equation. The little girls loved Haim back then, and he was 14 when he made this movie. But yeah. Even after
I heard girls were just throwing their panties at the screen and just who were watching this in the movie theater.
Pretty much, yeah.
I can't even imagine how many young ladies really went out to see this for the eye candy there.
But yeah, Corey Haim, before he does License to Drive with his buddy Corey Feldman. This is like the movie that bonded them, though. And they did work together more after this. There was a great chemistry with these guys on screen, though, as we will see.
The Coreys, they're called.
The two Coreys.
The two Coreys. And Jordan, what movies in the 1980s qualify that? What movies in the 1980s did the two Coreys star in together?
Not counting the National Lampoon's movies direct-to-video later on that I don't remember.
No, none of the.
Just
none
the
of
80s. Sorry.
Attempts to revive their careers later on. No, just the 80s.
So later on, they would do a movie called License to Drive, where Corey Haim played a kid trying to get his driver's license who fails his driving test and doesn't want to tell his parents. No, and Corey Feldman's his best friend in the movie, drives around on a bicycle. Anyway, and then there's Dream a Little Dream, another movie, body switch movie, a little late in the game in the 80s of body switch movies. Way late in the game, kind of, actually. The alarm just didn't go off for this movie to wake up.
Nope. Dream of a better movie. Dream of it's not that great, despite Jason Robards.
And also starred the elder Jason Robards, who Corey Feldman switches bodies with in the movie.
Yeah.
And that movie was also very big on cable than it was in the theater.
And they have a dog.
Nanook.
It's Nanook, played by Cody, an Alaskan Malamute,
Cody.
who also starred in...
Wait. I don't know Cody's resume or filmography.
You didn't look up Cody's IMDb profile.
I'm sorry.
What kind of podcaster are you, Jordan?
I'm sorry. I failed you.
No, it's okay. He was also in Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman, for anyone who cares. Anyway.
What?
Yes.
Filmed on the Paramount Ranch, by the way.
Yeah. Anyway, so we get this wonderful rendition of People Are Strange, and we get a montage of the weirdos there in Santa Carla, the town they're moving to. And a montage that includes missing child posters and this boardwalk amusement park that is central to the film. And we get the sense that, like, Santa Carla is kind of it's a hippie town on the beach. Yeah. Kind of weird.
With a murder rate, apparently, though. A murder, and the murder capital, as we saw on one of the billboards that Michael noticed when he drove in, spray painted, graffitied right on the back of a billboard.
Murder capital of the world.
Yeah.
And they move in with Lucy's dad, Lucy the mom's dad, whose name is Grandpa.
Grandpa.
Thanks for lazy screenwriting there. His name's Grandpa, played by Barnard Hughes.
Yeah, how many drafts and they just call him Grandpa? Jeez,
yeah,
I'm just saying.
Grandpa. Look, we're not going to do another rewrite to change Grandpa's name. We're going to keep it, all right?
Look, Bernard Hughes, you look at him and he just says, you just think Grandpa. So what does it matter? He doesn't need a name.
He doesn't need a name. So he does a lot of taxidermy, this Grandpa. And he says there's some bad elements about Santa Clara. And young Sam is not that happy, man, about moving to this cool town from Phoenix. I'm sorry, moving to even if you're a kid, moving to a cool beach town with a boardwalk and an amusement park. I mean, how cool is Phoenix in the 80s?
I mean, yeah, that would have been glamorous to me too if I'd moved from like Texas to Santa Carlos in the 80s a little kid. I mean, just because you're in California on a coast, my God. You're on a coast in California. Hello.
I know. He's a kid.
Think about the real estate value, Sam. Come on.
I know. Come on. Sam. Exactly.
California property, come on. And it's not even sitting like right on the edge of a cliff where it's in danger of a mudslide, okay, Sam? Calm down. Just because there's no MTV, it doesn't matter, Sam. Which is one of his complaints.
Yeah. Have some vision, Sam. Like that boardwalk, that amusement park's going to be condos one day. And you are going to be sitting on a big old pile of money if you get on the ground floor of that.
I don't think Sam is thinking with the bigger picture here, with the real estate game. No, he's not. No. He's not thinking about California coast real estate.
No. He just wants MTV, like you said.
Yeah.
And Grandpa doesn't have a TV. So then we cut to a beach concert, right? Where the great one, the oily one, Timmy Capello, is oiled up.
Thank you. Tim Capello. I was trying to remember his name earlier. Tim Capello.
Yeah. He's greased up like a state fair pig, shirtless, playing the saxophone in what is just an overdose of the 80s, Jordan.
It's he is buff as a motherfucker here, Anthony. Come on. I mean, he's no pig as far as body goes. No. He's buff. He is like ready to, I mean, he's hulked out buff.
Yeah. He does saxophone curls. That's how you get in that kind of shape. He just swings that saxophone around like it's just a little plastic flute or something. Anyway, so Sam and Mikey are watching this, and Mikey or Michael is enraptured by this girl in the crowd.
Yes. Played by the lovely Jamie Gertz. She's bopping the music. Yeah. Along with the other Santa Carlos teeny boppers in the audience. Mm-hmm. To I Still Believe, yes.
Yes. I Still Believe. Soundtrack from Lost Boys, featuring NXS, Echo and the Bunnymen, Gerard McMahon, and the Grease Man himself, Tim Capello, available from Atlantic Records.
And Warner Music. Next on Movie Tunes. Oh, sorry.
Meanwhile, Mom is helping a young boy who is lost. Is he the lost boy, Jordan? I don't know.
Yes. No, that is like literally giving you the title right there, that whole moment. And I think, and it was there purposely to kind of go with the title to remind you that this is about lost boys. Yeah, he's one of the lost boys, but luckily he's not lost for long.
He's not the lost. He becomes a found boy when the mom takes him into a video store.
Yes.
To find his mother. And who do we meet as the video store owner, Jordan?
This is the great Edward Herrmann playing the video store owner.
The great Edward Herrmann of stage, screen, Broadway.
And we see, I will throw this in there because she's in the credits listed, bless her heart, Kelly Jo Minter in the background as the video store clerk, who had more lines originally in the movie, but they were cut.
Oh.
And you would later see her in Summer School that same summer, or at least earlier in that summer. You'd see her in it with an actual speaking role. And then a couple of years later, you'd see in Nightmare on Elm Street 5, Dream Child.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway.
So she got, what was that name from Chosen Survivors? Hold on a second.
She got Conrad.
She got Conrad Hould.
Conrad Houlid. That's apparently the way you say it. Houlid. I met somebody with that last name. Yeah. But yeah, she got Conrad Houlid. She's credited in the opening credits and completely deleted. And yeah, we got that from that movie Chosen Survivor.
Survivors, yeah.
From 1974 that we reviewed. Yes. I'm glad you remembered that name.
I love it when a callback pays off. And so Edward Herrmann and his dog Thorn is the store owner, and he is quite taken by Mom.
And he owns this video store, and they're only Warner title clamshell boxes at this video store, by the way. I noticed there are no other titles. There's no Fox, no Paramount titles. Not at all. No. This is a Warner Brothers movie. All the videos are Warner titles. Just letting you know. To be on the safe side here.
And if they try to carry some like MGM titles, or and then some distribution rep comes in and is like, we noticed you got some movies over here that aren't Warner releases.
Yes.
Be a shame if I don't know, someone didn't rewind your tapes over here.
The lawyers and Teamsters were on set that day, so you didn't find any Paramount, Fox, MGM, and that was before Warner owned MGM. Yes, so yes, no MGM, no. Anyway,
so everybody in the first act of this movie is falling in love and getting a crush in a very 80s way. So mom says she needs a job, and Max is like, well, hey, I got a job for you. Because he knows that the quickest way to a gal's heart is to give her a job.
Oh, absolutely. It's very charitable.
Yeah.
But then the boys walk in.
Yeah. Maybe the Lost Boys, we'll see, walk in. David and his crew, his gang,
hey boys.
walk in. And he's like, I told you kids not to come in here. Or I told you boys you lost boys not to come in here anymore.
Never to come in here. Ever.
So then Sam is interested in Michael's crush as he's following this girl.
Yeah.
And he goes into a comic book shop. And who does he meet, Jordan?
He meets Jameson Newlander and his future co-star in other movies, Corey Feldman, his partner in crime. His buddy in real life, Corey Feldman. And my God, I love, no joking, all kidding aside, Corey Feldman and Jameson Newlander are great in this movie as the Frog Brothers. Oh my God, they're so serious. The way they talk to him, here, maybe this comic, consider it a survival mode, survival.
I know, they kind of steal their scenes. The Frog Brothers.
I heard, I've seen in the featurettes, you might have seen this, that Schumacher he gave Feldman and Newlander specific directions, to not ever be not serious. They had to be so serious about this. And he told them when they're not busy at work to go off and rent, every Rambo Chuck Norris movie, Schwarzenegger movie to help with that whole mentality of war mentality.
As long as it's a Warner release.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Jameson Newlander said later on it occurred to him, oh my God, this is probably meant to be funny as he was actually doing it,
What? So anyway, they give Sam a hard time about his radical 80s wardrobe and tough guy quiz him on comics.
But I was going to say Sam impresses him because he's looking for a Batman number 14. And he tells them also, you can't mix up this Superman with that Superman because he's already discovered red kryptonite. He's already like thrown his like, hey, I know what I'm looking at here vibe at them.
Yeah.
Even though, he does look like a fashion victim.
He's like, I also don't get laid. So they're all bonding over that.
Hey, come on.
I know. I'm sorry.
Comic book nerds have come a long way.
Oh, I'm stuck. I'm stuck in the 80s. I'm sorry, guys. Anyway.
We've come a long way since then, mister. Look at the Big Bang Theory. Come on.
No. Edgar gives him a comic, a vampire comic, Vampires Everywhere, despite the fact that Sam is like, I don't like horror comics, bro.
Yeah, I told you, I don't like horror comics.
So the hot girl that Michael has been chasing after gets on the back of David's bike.
Oh, yeah. Star. Come on, Star.
Star. Played by Jamie Gertz. And what other movie did we talk about starring Jamie Gertz?
Well, first off, where is Julian, Anthony? Where'd you leave Julian?
I thought you were watching him, Jordan.
This time I thought it was you watching Julian.
No, he was right here a minute ago. I mean,
I knew when I saw that guy walk in with the leather jacket and the other guy that I just knew he was going to go right near them. And of course, they're all gone now.
Well, I hope he's not hanging around with a bunch of vampires, Jordan.
Oh, that'd be the end of Julian. Completely. Anyway, no, that's where we know Jamie Gertz is from another movie we talked about from the same year, 1987. Less Than Zero, actually. It came out later that year. This was Jamie Gertz's year, man. Talk about
I know.
year.
That was her year. Anyway, sorry.
Before that, the year before, she was in Quicksilver and Crossroads. Quicksilver with Kevin Bacon. Crossroads with Ralph Macchio. My God. Talk about
Solar Babies.
And Solar Babies with also Sir Jason Patrick. once again. And in fact, I think she got cast in this movie because of Jason Patric, because Joel Schumacher said Jason Patric suggested her, and that he figured he probably felt like that he had a crush on her also.
Yeah.
Which is probably true.
Well, apparently Jason Patric had a lot of leverage on set and was really advocating for the actors.
Yeah.
You know?
Apparently he did, yeah. So
I remember, I saw this featurette. I don't know if you saw the same one, and it was an interview with Jason Patric, and Joel Schumacher was there, and Jason Patric's like, yeah, he lets me block my own shots, and Joel Schumacher was like, I don't let him block his own shots.
Boogie Nights reference.
Boogie Nights reference of the podcast. Okay, so they get in this sort of. Michael has a bike, and they sort of challenge Michael to follow them, and they almost drive over this cliff.
The Lost Boys are all on bikes too.
Yeah, on this motorcycle. So chase them over, and they almost run over this cliff. And some of the Lost Boys almost seem to fly over the cliff, Jordan, in a very creepy scene. It's almost like what was that old movie? The Rebel Without a Cause. You know what I mean?
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, this always reminded me. It's like a darker, more gothic version. But yeah, it does remind you of the chicken race in Rebel Without a Cause. Same deal, where it's a cliff and, they got to jump out of the cars before they go off the cliffs.
Yeah.
But this is foggier, creepier. And yeah, Mike loses them because they go faster than him. They're on these bikes too that are rigged, by the way. They're not even like real looking bikes. And I heard that's the deal with them. They're like a combination of motorcycle and dirt bike parts. And the Kiefer Sutherland said in an interview they didn't work really well, and so did Alex Winter, who Alex Winter likes to ride bikes, and they all kind of said no, they didn't work really well. These bikes were not that great. And also there's a miniature shot of the cliff that we see when we pull away. That's actually a miniature, the lighthouse and everything. Cool. But yeah, they almost go over the edge, and it is very Rebel Without a Cause. And I forgot my point now of all this.
Your point was they invite Michael over to their lair, and your point should be never follow somebody to their lair, Jordan, their cave lair. It's this hotel that's like sunk underneath an earthquake fault.
And also like Rebel Without a Cause, this is the new kid in town, Johnny come lately, Michael, looking for friends, looking for somebody to fit in, looking for a new peer group to fit in with. The in crowd. The wrong crowd. Ooh.
He's hanging out with the wrong kids. Don't think I didn't notice, Michael.
Yeah.
And so, these are not the good kids, but they are nice. And down in the lair, they bring him some Chinese takeout.
How nice of them.
Yeah.
Marco runs off and gets it. He probably killed some Chinese restaurant delivery guy.
I didn't think about that. He does come back rather quickly with oh my God, there's a whole missing scene.
I just picture that he swooped down
on the cutting room floor. There's a scene.
Wait, no, you didn't pay.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, like God knows where he got that from. I'm just saying.
Good point.
So yeah, and then he starts fucking with them while they're eating it.
Yeah. So David starts messing with Michael as he's eating rice. What does he say?
He says, "How are your maggots, Michael?" Michael looks down, and his rice is no longer just white rice; it's maggots. Ew, and it's just crawling all around.
Poltergeist did it.
Apparently, fun fact too, they had to use lemon juice to make the maggots do that. No joke. That was what Joel Schumacher said in the commentary.
And to give him some extra zing.
Yeah. James Cameron went all the way to electrocute maggots for Galaxy of Terror, another movie you talked about. No, turns out all you need is lemon juice. Anyway.
All you need is lemon juice.
And then, he fucks with him even more so. He says, I'm sorry. And then he offers him, how about my noodles? You want to eat my noodles, Michael? And then Michael starts eating the noodles. He says, how are your worms, Michael? You're eating worms. And then, he looks down. It looks like earthworms inside the Chinese restaurant box thing. And man, whoa, gross. Ew. Oh, God. And, of course, he drops it then. And, he's probably lost his appetite at that point. And what better way to top it off with a bottle of wine?
Yeah. Well, and then he's like, close your eyes, Michael. Put your hands in this bowl. And he gives him a bowl full of like peeled grapes. He's like, it's eyeballs, Michael.
That doesn't happen.
Oh, sorry. Director's cut.
Anyway. That's good, though. That's good, yes.
And so he gives them a spirit Halloween bottle to drink from. And don't do any of this, kids. Kids, as it's Halloween time, you may be tempted to go off if you're a new kid in town with some cool kids in leather jackets on motorcycles and go into an abandoned cave hotel and drink out of scary bottles. Don't do any of this.
But Anthony, what if they look cool and they offer you weed? They offer you a joint. I mean, come on. These guys look like rock stars, man. They look like
Oh, okay.
the rock stars you want to hang out with, the cool people. Come on, Anthony.
I'm just saying this movie is a cautionary tale, Jordan.
Okay.
It's a cautionary tale. So anyway, yeah, so what happens? He drinks from the bottle, and this whole movie's about peer pressure at this point, isn't it? I mean, everything is about peer pressure.
Because they start literally chanting him to drink it. Michael, 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 Michael. And then, Michael takes a drink. We see this big mural of Jim Morrison in the background. That tells you where these vampires got their identity from. Basically, they're all a bunch of Jim Morrison wannabes, these guys. In the 80s, of course. That's probably why they like Mike so much, because Mike looks so much like Jim Morrison. And maybe that's why they're after him as a friend. They just
like him.
They know he could be one of the cool people easily because he's pretty too. And that's what this is all about, Anthony.
They need somebody who's pretty, but who's also like an asshole.
Lost Boys is about vanity here.
Well, vanity's not in the Lost Boys.
But David offers him the bottle and says, "Drink, Michael. Be one of us." And that just sounds tempting right there. Kiefer Sutherland offering you a bottle.
Be a hoodlum. be a juvenile delinquent. No, sir. Michael, don't do it. Well, he does it. And then the gang takes him. He starts feeling weird, and the gang takes him to a train trestle, and they hang underneath as the train rolls over.
Oh, yeah. And also, by the way, this is after star Jamie Kurtz did tell him it's blood, and he just went, sure it is, because he's already seen, fake maggots, fake rye. What is he supposed to think at that point? Anyway. But they all decide to, go hang off a train bridge in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Because we've all done that as kids,
Oh, yeah, as you do. You need some upper arm strength for sure. The train rolls over, all the other Lost Boys drop, and then Michael just loses his grip and he falls into a big smoke machine cloud.
Yeah. And also, can I throw in, one of our last guests, Sean Clark, went to this bridge, and it's in Chatsworth, California, and it's actually 10 feet off the ground. In the movie, Dream Quest Images came up with I think it was probably a foreground miniature, maybe they stuck in front of it to make it look higher off the ground. But anyway, Dream Quest Images made it look higher off the ground. And when he falls, he's back at Warner Stage into a bitch of mist and fog, basically.
Falls all the way back into the Warner Stage and into his bed.
And into his bed on another set.
So that's a long way to fall. And we get the feeling really that there's a passage of time and Michael's starting to hang out with these kids all night and sleep during the day. And Michael's not looking for a job here or anything.
Yeah.
I mean, the family's hurting here for money. They're living with grandpa. It really surprises me how the mom isn't pushing him to do something.
He hasn't registered for high school senior year yet, I guess.
He said he's going to be a third-year senior. He's 25.
They talk about school in this movie. Do they mean high school or college? I think they mean, or I'm assuming they mean like senior year high school.
He's 30. They're talking about graduate school. Anyway, Mom calls and asks Michael to watch Sam because she has a hot date with Max. And relationship advice for Lucy, for people in movies. Lucy, don't date your boss. Don't date anyone at work, especially if you've been working there 4 days. Okay? Just no.
As we learned from the TV show Nip Tuck, to quote it, don't fuck where you eat. Pardon my French.
Jordan, this is a family podcast.
And
a Halloween episode.
This is family oriented.
I think you've been drinking blood with hoodlums.
I've been drinking something.
In an underground hotel. So anyway, Michael starts feeling weird.
No, in a closet under the stairs. I'm doing this podcast, though.
And he starts looking real intense. And he starts walking up to the bathroom door as Sam's taking a bath.
Oh, yeah. Later on in the evening. Yeah.
He bursts open the door, and then what happens?
And then Nanook attacks Michael really quickly before he can get to Sam. as he's been sitting there singing to himself, I ain't got a home, I ain't got a home. Anyway, yeah, he bolts up out of the water because he didn't hear any of this. He was underwater the whole time. He didn't hear any of this. And he's alarmed, and he gets out of the tub, and he runs downstairs, and he's like, Mike, why are you bleeding? And he's like, the Nook attacked me. Why did the dog attack you? What'd you do to my dog, Mike? And then he's like, no, this is my blood. This is not his blood. This is my blood. He tried to save me from you. And then, Sam totally figures out because he sees his reflection in the mirror. He says, my older brother, a shit-sucking vampire. Well, you wait till Mom finds out about this. The greatest line in the trailer moment.
And I was about to say, and we have a trailer drop right there.
And Corey Haim is real. Corey Haim, give it up to Corey Haim. God damn it.
Yeah.
So good in this movie. Yeah. So good at delivering these lines. I mean, but these are the
peace.
Reality things that, exactly. And this is the comedy the movie needs at this point, which is why the movie works. It's got a nice balance of gothic and dark humor, but it's got humor still. Yeah.
It's an interesting tone. It's like, it wants to be a horror movie. We'll talk about this more in depth later, but certainly you have horror elements, and then Corey Haim is sort of the comic relief.
Absolutely. Yeah.
For all the 14-year-olds in a rated R movie, I guess he's there for them to have something to connect with.
I mean, I'll give him credit, though. He's the anchor for us as the audience, because he's the one that sees the reality of everything compared to everybody else in the movie. His mom is unaware she's dating a fucking vampire.
Yeah.
His brother is unaware that he's become a vampire still. He still just thinks he's partying with these guys.
Yeah.
The Frog Brothers at least know what's up, but they're so serious, it's hard for them to be the anchor.
Yeah. So speaking of the Frog Brothers, that's exactly who he calls, and they tell him to drive a stake through his heart, but he won't, right? Because the rest of the movie has to continue on and happen here. And then Michael finds himself pinned on the ceiling and floating uncontrollably, and is holding onto the phone outside Sam's window as he's trying to call Mom. You know, and he's like, "Don't call Mom." And you get this moment, this transition from when he's trying to attack Sam to, "Hey, help me."
Yeah.
And we get these underlying themes of just like, Jordan, when you're growing up, a lot of changes happen in your body. You know what I mean? And it's difficult to at school. And
I had problems floating on the ceiling all the time. It scared me because I didn't like heights, Yeah. It was very frightening.
It's normal, and it's a part of growing up. So don't worry about it. Everyone goes through.
It was after I started hanging around the wrong kids too, honestly. Mm-hmm. And listening to the Doors,
Yeah, perfectly normal. No, but Michael's like, "Don't tell Mom."
Yeah. Sam calls her and says, "Mom, Mikey's going to kill me."
Yeah.
And so Mom, of course, freaks out, cancels the date, comes back home, and Sam has pulled Michael back into the window and held him down. And he's just like, "We'll figure this out, Sam."
Yeah, exactly.
"Don't tell Mom, Sam."
So the brothers are bonding over the change that Michael's going through.
Yeah.
And so Mom comes home, of course, ditching her date with Max.
And it was already getting good. They were just about to open this really nice bottle of wine during the date.
I know.
And they were going to bring out the filet mignon. God.
Damn it, kids. Damn it.
Salmon and the filet mignon special.
Can't Mom just have one night to herself? Mom's got to have a life too, kids. Come on.
That was the actual entree. She missed the entree. I'm just saying.
Damn it. So anyway, Sam covers for Michael whenever Mom gets home, and then Michael slips out into the night on his motorcycle. And he goes back to the lair to see Star alone, and wants to know, "Hey, what's happening to me? I'm missing all the obvious clues in this movie so far. What is happening?"
Yeah. In the words of Ozzy Osbourne, "I'm going through changes."
And so she's like, "I can't tell you." But she can do the dirty with him, and we get a love scene.
She's like, "I can't tell you, but I can have a Playboy-inspired love scene with you." Nicely lit, like a Cinemax Friday After Dark movie.
I can have a PG-13 love scene with you in a rated R movie.
Man, I just wish I could have a love scene like this in reality, where Gerald McMahon music was playing and everything's perfectly lit. All the bodies look perfect. Of course, that's not like the way it is in reality. But, but in this movie, It's beautiful. The Gerald McMahon music playing from the beginning of the movie once again.
It's beautiful.
Recapping again the third time, even after the blood drinking scene. And the "Thou shalt not fall, cry, little sister."
It looks like a music video.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's product of its time.
This is weird. It kind of did Tommy Wiseau rip the lighting and the draped curtains and things off for the room love scene? I don't know.
I think he did, maybe. Now that you bring that up, wow, I didn't think about that.
I don't know. It's just common.
I want you to light it like Lost Boys, okay? And then, can you put some drapery up like The Hunger? You know. But I really want Lost Boys more than Hunger here. So get it, light it nice. Maybe put some fog in there, some smoke. But funny you say that, though. Now, you can't really... The cinematographer on this movie is Michael Chapman, who also shot friggin' Taxi Driver and Raging Bull, Anthony. I mean, and he did this movie because he actually apparently loved horror films, and nobody ever offered him a flat horror film to shoot. Nobody ever asked him, because they were like, oh, you shot Taxi Driver, Raging Bull. There's no way you'd want to shoot my horror film.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was actually flattered that he got offered to shoot a vampire film and mess with the lighting and use red gels and shit. I mean, some of it looks like an Argento film, kind of, or a Tobe Hooper film, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. It's a well-shot film.
But yeah, this love scene does look like a music video. I agree with you.
But it is the 80s. It's appropriately 80s. So anyway, so Michael comes home the next morning. Mom wants to talk, and he gives her the teen, leave me alone, you wouldn't understand line.
Oh, my God. And isn't Diane Weiss so great in this scene, though? I mean, like, Oscar-winning level. She's like, hello. Like, she feels like his mother in this scene.
Yeah.
I believe she's his mom, the way she talks to him. Like, she's just like, hello. We haven't talked in a while. Remember me? Like, she sounds like my mom.
Yeah. Hey, buddy. It's like a scene from Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. So it's a scene from a much better movie. You know what I mean?
Oh, come on now.
Well, no, but a much more serious movie.
Or yeah, I guess a more Oscar-level movie. But you're like, you got Diane Weiss power in this scene. I'm just saying. And she just does it effortlessly, it looks like. I mean, oh my God, Diane Weiss power here.
Yes.
Give her another Oscar.
Yes, we'll give her another Oscar and a nomination.
In my world, she got an Oscar for this movie. In my mind, in the parallel universe, she got an Oscar for Lost Boys next year.
And these things are so hard to open. Best Supporting Actress, The Lost Boys, Diane Weiss.
Yes. Oh
well done.
Wow.
Well done. So anyway, Mom brings a bottle over to Max to apologize for running out on him. And then Thorn the dog attacks her.
Yeah, and great actor, this dog.
Yeah, great. I didn't look up. My bad. Who played Thorn?
Oh, I forgot his name. I saw it in the credits last night, and I took note of it, and then I forgot it completely.
Oh, wow. Okay. Thorn. I just looked this up. Sorry. Thorn was in The Lost Boys. Thorn was also the dog in a movie called White Dog, Jordan. Have you seen White Dog?
White Dog sounds familiar, kind of. Wait, what is that movie, though?
White Dog is a film. Look it up, guys. It's a very dated, weird movie in which a dog attacks certain types of people. Anyway, that's the same dog. Wow, didn't know that.
Like a Cujo kind of dog.
Kind of, but more specific than Cujo. I don't know. Look it up.
This dog is scary in this scene, I will say.
Yeah,
where you're almost like, I'd be running for my life, too. I'd be just like Diane Weiss in this scene. It almost like, my God, the way it goes for her dress even. It's like, what the F, you know?
I know. It's very scary. It's one of the scariest things in the movie. And Sam's like, it's a hound of hell. They protect vampires when they sleep during the day. And so Sam thinks the dog is protecting Max.
Like a hellhound.
Who might be a vampire. Yeah. And so Mom invites Max over to dinner. Of course, Sam invites the Frog Brothers and wacky antics ensue.
Guess who's coming to dinner?
It's the Frog Brothers. First off, they invite him into the house, and then they give him garlic under the pretense that it's cheese, and he's like, you know.
Yeah, grated Parmesan that Sam grated himself, and of course he's like, oh, budding chef.
Yeah, and then they turn off the lights to see if he glows in the dark. He doesn't. And then they put a mirror in his face to see if he casts a reflection, and he does. So none of this works. Then they spill some holy water on him.
Yeah.
So Max passes the vampire test. He doesn't appear to be a vampire.
Yeah. The holy water is not, it's just cold water, by the way.
Yeah. And Mom's like, what's going on? And there's like, I understand what's going on here. I'm not trying to take your mother away from you, and I'm not trying to replace your dad. You know, and so he's way more understanding than I think a lot of people would be.
Boy, is he. I mean,
He's thirsty. He really wants to get it on with Lucy, apparently.
I dressed up as a Lost Boy in front of one of my mom's boyfriends one time, and I'm pretty sure that was a deal killer because I didn't see the guy again after that for the longest time.
So were you ruining your mom's dates, a la the Frog Brothers?
Yes, I did one time in that respect.
Wow.
But no, not because I suspected my mom's boyfriend was a vampire.
Oh, you thought he was a werewolf?
No, I suspected he might be a redneck probably, and I was right about that. I had to give him the redneck test, which is, once he saw the TV guide and saw Rambo was coming on and commented about it, that was the first test. And then the amount of gravy he put on his mashed potatoes, that was the second test. And the lack of conversation during dinner was the third test. So
then you handed him a Busch beer and he drank it in one gulp, and
he sucked it down. Oh my God. I was like, "You love this, don't you?" And he was like, "Yeah, I do." Is Rambo on? And yeah, I knew my mom was dating a redneck at that point.
And then Jeff Foxworthy jumped in and is like, Jordan's mom's boyfriend might be a redneck.
Might be a redneck.
Anyway.
A vampire redneck.
Isn't there a movie called Vampire Rednecks? Anyway.
Is there really?
I don't know. There should be. Anyway, so the gang takes Michael to a secluded area and where some teens are having a bonfire, and then the gang turns into vampires.
Oh, yeah, because he warns him. He says, you need to learn how to, he says, you must feed, Michael. And yeah, they're listening to Walk This Way, which is the Aerosmith Run DMC version.
Yeah, and they beat him over the head and like, we're vampires, Michael. Get it? Like, we're vampires. And Michael's like, I don't understand. What are you trying to tell me? He's like, look, watch. And, they suck blood out of a bunch of people. And they're like, we're vampires. He's like, I still don't understand what's going on here. They're like, we're fucking vampires, Michael. Damn it.
And this is after really they mutilate this camp of biker. That's the thing. All these people, most of these people they kill, except for the security guard, don't seem like great people. I will say.
Yeah.
They don't seem like real winners in life. Or
no,
I don't know, I'm just saying, not winners in life, but that's the wrong choice of words.
Man,
they just seem like I don't know.
All these people deserve to die for being losers.
They all deserve to die.
Damn, Jordan, judgy.
I know. God,
you're as judgy as these vampires are. And so they're like, now you know what we are and what you are. You're never going to grow old, never going to die.
That's like what Trump would say. They're a bunch of losers. They deserve it.
A Trump vampire.
These vampires are my type of vampires.
People are saying you'll never grow old when you die.
All they kill are losers. They kill a security guard and people who are vagrants, No, it's mean. They take human life. And they do it brutally. This campfire scene, they brutally kill these people the way it's shot. It's like more of an attack, just brutal attack compared to other vampire movies,
Yeah, what was it that gave this movie the R rating, do you think? Like, this is probably one of the bloodier kills. We get a bloody one later, but most of these kills are kind of off-screen kills or cutaways.
Other than the language, I don't understand. Even the language is fairly tame compared to what I've seen since then. You're right. The violence level is really PG-13 level, in my opinion, nowadays especially. Maybe that's why, though. Maybe it's the overall blood and, I don't know why it's R-rated. That's beyond me. The MPAA, once again,
Yeah. Anyway, so they tell Michael that he has to make a kill. He won't be a full vampire until he makes his first kill and gets that final merit badge.
Yes. You must feed, Michael.
Yeah. And then Michael finds out he was supposed to be Star's first kill, but then she fell in love with him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But she realizes, and so you get the feeling that Star's and there's a little kid there called Laddie.
Oh, yeah, and Laddie hasn't made his kill yet, as we found out. We forgot to talk about Laddie. Sorry, Laddie.
Yeah. Who we saw in the milk carton earlier, so we know that he's a lost boy.
Yeah.
Is he the lost boy? I don't know. Anyway,
he's the lost boy.
So she wants his help for herself and Laddie to get out of there because they're like, yeah, these guys suck. And so Michael's like, agrees to help them. And didn't Schumacher, who wrote the script? It wasn't Schumacher. It was
no, it was
what's his name?
I have notes on that actually. It was Janice Fisher and James Jeremias wrote the script, and it was little kids. Actually, it was younger age.
Yeah.
And then it was rewritten for for Schumacher's version by Jeffrey Boehm. Who
Jeffrey
later wrote,
Boehm, yeah.
Inner Space and Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, and sadly died in 2000.
Yeah. So he came in to script doctor it up, but he had, I think it was one of the producers had read the Interview with the Vampire. And so that's one of the things, especially like the child vampire here. I think this is one of the first children vampires in movies that I can remember, at least.
Mm-hmm. Younger vampires, yeah, at least. Well, the bridge scene was from the original draft, from what I understand. And I think what it was like Sam probably and the Frog Brothers were probably like 9 and 10-year-olds, maybe, or 10 years old.
Uh-huh.
10-year-olds maybe, and then, or maybe maybe even. I mean, we're talking Stranger Things. Kind of, if you can imagine the way Stranger Things is now, that would probably help you imagine the way Lost Boys was supposed to be. And then, yeah, everybody else was probably 13 and 14. The Lost Boys themselves were probably 13, 14, 12.
A little more in line with Peter Pan. And then Schumacher gets it and it's like, no, wait, I just did St. Elmo's Fire.
Well, he wanted to make it, he said he wanted to make it, in his words, sexier. And then he wanted to make it, he wanted to make it a teen version too,
Yeah.
A teen vampire movie. Like Teen Wolf, I guess.
And Rob Lowe, speaking of St. Elmo's Fire, is not in this movie. I think that would have been interesting if he was a Lost Boy. But
he is in the movie, technically.
Yeah.
As the poster in the background. Okay, you saw that?
Yeah, I saw that too. I was like, wow.
So, and you know what else? We see a poster of Molly Ringwald hanging over Sam's bed. Also, a big mural of her face from Breakfast Club. Mm-hmm. So, verdict. Does that make it a Brat Pack movie? Yes, it does. Ding, 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 ding.
Technicality.
Off on a slight technicality. When you asked me earlier if this is a Brat Pack movie, I've changed now that denouement. Yes, it's a Brat Pack movie.
Okay.
That makes it a Brat Pack movie.
Officially a Brat Pack movie. Thank you, Jordan. I will let the world know.
And Kiefer Sutherland on top of that. Sorry. Ding, 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 ding.
Sorry. Brat Pack movie. So the Frog Brothers and Michael and Sam go in the middle of the day to rescue Star and Laddie, and they go to the lair and find all the vampires hanging upside down, asleep.
Yeah. Michael walks out. He manages to carry out Star and Laddie and put them in the back of Grandpa's Cadillac, which they stole. And then they find the big giant coffin that they sleep in, which is what they all sleep like bats hanging upside down.
Even their feet are weird like bats. I thought that was strange.
Cool. I always thought that was interesting. And those were like fake feet created by Greg Cannon once again.
Yeah. And that's a 1957 Ford Fairlane 500 Skyliner. Misty, our friend who's into cars.
Ooh.
That's Grandpa's car.
And what a
cool
car it is.
Put some gas in it. Anyway.
That's as far away as I want to get.
Yeah, Grandpa didn't take the car out of the Grandpa's great in this movie. You gotta love him.
No, Bernard Hughes I loved him in the movie Tron even. Bernard Hughes was great in anything he showed up in with that voice of his. And those are my double stuffed Oreos. See?
And so anyway.
The TV guide. I don't need a TV if I've got a TV guide.
He's got some zingers. And so anyway, good dialogue in this. A lot of funny. Most of the jokes land.
Some of that dialogue, from what I understand, is Jeffrey Boehm's magic. Also, Jeffrey Boehm was really good with dialogue like that. That the whole, all of Bernard Hughes' lines and all that. That's Jeffrey Boehm's sense of humor.
Yeah. So the Frog Brothers come in and they have a bunch of stakes and all sorts of vampire killing gear, and they go in there and they go up to Alex Winter's character Marco, and what happens, Jordan?
They stake him.
And he goes, bogus!
Yeah.
Sorry.
Excellent. And then, he sprays a fountain of blood. Like, he just becomes a big fountain of blood. Man.
Yeah.
Never-ending fountain of blood. And then the other vampires wake up and they start coming after them. And then Sam, just as he's crawling to the top, David's hand grabs his ankle. But luckily, Sam's ankle hits the sunlight and it burns the fuck out of David's hand. And David resists after that, but he's like, there's this weird close-up of David after that where he's got these tears of anger in his eyes, like he's just like seething.
He's
and he's
crying.
still in vampire mode and he's crying at the same time. Yeah, maybe because he killed Marco also.
I don't know. It's a weird moment. What do you think about the vampire makeup?
Oh, it's great. It's Greg Cannon at his best. Greg Cannon would later become like, he would later work on Blade even. And those fangs are unique, actually.
Yeah.
I actually made a vampire movie when I was a kid, when I was 16, and bought the same style of fangs from a makeup effects company that did Lost Boy style fangs and Lost Girl style fangs even. And they're more, the fangs are a little more snake-like, like sort of the snake-like canines.
Yeah. And speaking of Blade, R.I.P. As we're recording this, Chris Christopherson passed away recently, and
Yes.
R.I.P. Yeah.
Speaking of other vampire movies and actors.
Yeah. Will be missed. Will be missed. Okay. Then they take Star, Michael, and the kid back to the house, and the Frog Brothers and Sam hatch a little scheme because the vampires are going to come and seek vengeance at dark.
Yes.
So Sam goes to the video store talking about, hey, Mom, Michael's a vampire and all this other stuff. And Mom just won't believe him, right?
Yeah, she's like had it with him, and then she says something about, I know you're worried about me dating Max. And he says, I'm not talking about Max. Deal with Max, okay? And then that's where she's really drawn the line. She's like, young man, you go back home. We'll talk about this later.
So hard to raise kids in the 80s, man. I blame the MTV. I blame it. So anyway, the boys prepare the house for a vampire siege. And this is such a fun movie at this point. This is like...
I love this, yeah. Well, they also go into a church and get holy water.
Yeah.
They put holy water in their canteens.
Yeah, they steal holy water, which is perfect.
They went to a church that was, they randomly shot that on the Warner backlot when that church was still up, that fake church facade. Because yet another YouTube video I saw went to that church and they actually saw the interior was the same. Anyway, but yeah, they get ready for the siege. They
get a bunch of garlic.
Yeah, chop up garlic, put it in bath water.
Get some arrows and a bow and arrow
made of wood. Yeah, obviously.
And then it's almost like, it's pretty interesting because I don't know of many movies. I know there's a lot of movies like Night of the Living Dead where there's a zombie siege and you have to like prepare the house and reinforce it. I don't remember many vampire sieges per se, but this is a great getting ready for vampires attacking montage.
Yeah, this is like Van Helsing. A bunch of little Van Helsings are arming themselves. Also, don't leave out the squirt guns with the holy water, garlic water mixed in with it.
The only thing they're missing is like a high five.
Yeah.
This is a very 80s scene here. I love it. Very 80s montage.
But the darkness comes. We can start to hear the motorcycles approaching with the lights, and then Nanook quickly runs out of the house, off at the sound, and Mikey and Sam run after the damn dog, and they're like, "No, Nanook, bring him back!" And then they get the dog back in the house just in time. They close the doors just in time as the Lost Boys have shown up. I keep calling them the Lost Boys. Like
it's very thrilling. Dave and the gang.
Yeah, they all show up, and then the fight ensues.
The fight ensues. And then the Frog Brothers kill one in a bathtub full of holy water in a very fun scene.
They kill, I think that's the Brooke McCarter character, the one with the teased blonde hair, who's got the riding boots on and everything.
And then blood. I love how blood spews through the plumbing and stuff. That was a great effect. Yeah. That's awesome.
Oh my God. Just a blood fountain in the plumbing. It's amazing.
I was like, Grandpa is going to be pissed. He's going to be pissed. Yeah. Anyway, and then Sam shoots another one into a stereo and he explodes.
He kills the dark-haired, really pretty one played by Billy Wirth. Did I tell you, by the way, I worked on a movie with Billy Wirth?
No, you didn't.
Called Space Marines, once again.
All roads go through Space Marines.
He was the star of Space Marines, Anthony.
Wait! I thought it was Eddie Albert Jr.
I forgot to mention Billy Wirth. Yeah, he was the second star on the movie. This was right after he did Body Snatchers for Abel Ferrara, I guess. But yeah, and I did see him on set. He was the same height as me, and I'm a little guy, as you know. That was, I thought, was interesting. And it was funny because back then I dressed kind of like I do now a little bit. I dressed like a Lost Boy, and I saw him in passing, and he looked at me and gave me this look like. Now I think it was probably a look of like, how the fuck did a Lost Boys fan go to this movie?
Yeah. Thou shalt not.
Yeah, he's probably hearing
stalk. Well, Jordan, since you're dropping names, I think I'll drop a name onto the file. We talked previously on another episode about a mutual friend of ours whom we called Raul, right?
Yes.
And Raul and I used to have a YouTube channel way back in the day.
Oh, Raul. Yeah.
And so anyway, Raul and I went, and I don't know why this my
Will
buddy was
protect
like,
his anonymity, yes.
will protect his anonymity. But anyway, he really wanted to see Corey Feldman.
Oh, yeah, I think I remember this with Raul. Yeah.
Yeah, so we went to a comic convention that was in town because Corey Feldman was there for reasons I don't know.
Back in Texas.
Back in Texas. And so anyway, we went there, and I just remember this explicitly, where like we walked in, and I sadly don't read a lot of comic books.
He adored Corey Feldman, yes, I remember.
Yeah,
this.
Raul
adored
did,
Corey Feldman.
adored,
Raul did, not Anthony. Raul adored
Corey Feldman.
Let me just preface that.
It was weird. And anyway, so we're looking for Corey Feldman throughout this comic convention, and I'm like, we're walking by this huge line, and I was like, I stopped and asked the last person in line, like, hey, have you seen? Do you know where Corey Feldman is? And he's like, who's Corey Feldman? And I was like, oh, never mind. And I said, wait, who's this in line for? And it was like somebody, I forgot whose name it was. And I had no idea who this person was. And I was just like, these are two different fan bases.
It's for man. Jamie Kennedy, this line.
It was like, no, it was some comic book artist.
Oh, okay.
And it was somebody big because the line was like, 50
it's for Neil Gaiman, okay?
Yeah. It was somebody, but I just remember that. Who's Corey Feldman? And so finally we locate Corey Feldman in one of the back rooms, and there's not much of a line. I feel kind of bad for him.
Wow.
And so Raul rushes up to Corey Feldman, and as Corey Feldman's kind of getting up to leave the table, he rushes up to him, and Corey Feldman's security grabs him and puts him in a headlock. And Corey Feldman's like, he realizes that there's like not much danger, and like this guy's just a little too excited. He's like, it's okay, bro, it's okay.
Oh, that was where he took him in. Okay, I saw the video, but I didn't see the head. That was where he took.
Well, the headlock didn't make it.
That was where he put his arm around him and said, "It's okay, bro."
It's okay, bro. And then they got a picture. And then outside,
oh my God, they put him in a headlock.
I don't know, but they restrained him. I don't know if they put him in a headlock. They certainly had arms around him restraining him. In my mind, there's certainly a headlock involved because it was like a big old bouncer dude.
Oh wow.
And outside we were filming the rest of it, and he was just talking about Tiger Beat and how, like, you look at Tiger Beat and there's always the Corys on there. There was like Corey Feldman and Corey Haim, and I was like, all right, man. I was like, this runs deep for you, doesn't it?
I'm not saying it's like he had an unhealthy fixation, perhaps. With
no shame, but yeah, it was kind of weird. But anyway, more power to him. Anyway, so that's our name dropping part. I mean, that was my brush with fame. I didn't work with the great what's his name?
I didn't work with Billy Worth. I was on the second unit shit. He was on the speaking role like areas of the set.
Yeah.
No, I just passed by him and we kind of locked eyes. And I thought back then, oh, he must have thought he knew me. But I also think now back I don't think it was that. I think he was looking at me going, who is this guy on this set? He kind of is dressed like a lost boy. I don't know if he was thinking that maybe even too.
Yeah. So anyway, Death by Stereo. Back to the movie. Death by
Stereo with Billy Worth.
And David and Michael fight. And then we get the join us, Michael speech from David, as you do.
Yes. Join us, Michael.
And then what happens, Jordan?
Michael manages to stab David with these antlers that are stuck in the side of the wall from Grandpa's taxidermy. These deer antlers.
Yeah, this house is dangerous. Grandpa was into taxidermy, but there are pointy antlers all over this place.
Especially if your vampire's flying on wires like in the scene, man. It just looks dangerous.
Yeah. Advice for vampires in movies. Vampires are they always have fights in rooms where there's something sticking out of walls, right? Like,
why is that? I mean, even wouldn't you be like respectfully taking the fight outside at that point or something? Because you're like, oh, there's just trees nearby. That's the worst thing we got to hit. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's not fight here. Let's. There's too many things poking out here.
I know this room looks kind of dangerous here. I don't know. You got some swords and this real pointy artwork over here. I don't feel comfortable. I feel kind of claustrophobic.
This Excalibur display, I'm afraid I might go into if we fight. I don't want the fight to end that quickly here. That's all I'm saying. Let's take the fight outside.
Yeah, we got this chandelier made of deer antlers. I don't know. Can we move this?
You're right, though.
Time out. Anyway, so this is the worst place to have a flying vampire fight, but they do. And of course, David gets killed.
But Michael doesn't change any. They thought this was the head vampire to end all be all, and Michael hasn't changed, and neither has Star or Laddie. So they're like, especially Michael. Michael especially has not changed here. He's still got the full makeup on, contact lenses and all.
He's still surly. And then so Max and Lucy arrive. Max takes Lucy home after their date, and he walks in the room and he sees David is dead. And then what happens, Jordan?
Yeah. And Lucy sees the mess, of course, that they've left.
Yes.
What is all this? Oh my God. But yeah. He has to see David dead, yes. And then
Mom's like, there's dead bodies all over the place. Someone's in trouble.
And then, she says, you have some explaining to do. And, of course, we get an explanation at this part of this movie.
Yeah. So Max sees his boys dead. And he informs Lucy that they were supposed to be a happy little family. Things got out of hand, but they just needed her as a mother. You know?
He says the moment he set eyes on her, he knew she had a good heart, a good soul, a good spirit, whatever. I mean, and that's, he thought if he could just join those two families. And Corey Feldman has the great line, great, the blood-sucking Brady Bunch.
Yeah, because I mean, I can just see Max's like vampire Tinder profile. It's like looking for a vampire queen who's kind and motherly and generous.
Yeah.
And also likes to drink blood.
Funny he didn't like go after the goth type. Like, funny that their mom is not like a goth type, of mom.
You would think.
Like Winona Ryder in Beetlejuice kind of mom. That kind of mom.
Yeah. Or you would think of someone like Helena Bonham Carter or something.
Or Jessica Lange in American Horror Story as any character. That type. But no, he goes for Diane Wiest, all smiley and like, it's like if he didn't go for Diane Wiest, he'd go for Renee Zellweger,
Yeah, exactly. The heart wants what the heart wants, Jordan.
Doesn't matter if he's a vampire. He's just going way out of his league, I think, maybe. That's what Max is doing wrong here.
Anyway, so they're supposed to be a big family, and now they try to kill him, but they're powerless because they invited him into the home. Into the home.
That was all fucking Michael's fault earlier because he just blew him off aren't you going to invite me as the man of the house? You're invited.
Yeah.
Ugh. Dude, you're invited. Fine, bye. I gotta go meet Stark. Get on my motorcycle.
But then Max puts out his hand and he's got Sam in a headlock, and then he puts out his hand for Lucy to join him so he can drink her blood and they can, seal the pact and she can become part of the family. And Michael's like, I didn't invite you this time. So this is like an interesting thing. This is like Gremlins 2 logic. It's like, wait a minute. So if you cross a time zone and it's 12 o'clock somewhere, right? You know what I mean? Like, do you have to, technically, does an invitation...
Can you uninvite Satan, as the church lady might ask? Can you uninvite Satan?
Can you uninvite a vampire? Is that a binding invitation always? Is that like if I allow my neighbor to borrow my lawnmower? Does he always have the ability to come borrow my lawnmower whenever he wants? I don't know. We need to talk to my neighbor about that.
You're invited, okay? You can borrow my lawnmower. God, you're invited.
And he's like, guess that's forever. But yeah, Michael makes a good point. He's a budding lawyer.
At this point, too, Max's eyes are glowing, by the way.
Yes. Then what happens, Jordan? He's about to bite Lucy, and then what happens?
Is this Michael, attacks...
He attacks him, but then he, grabs him.
But he attacks him, but then Grandpa shows up just in time, and he's got these wooden stakes he's been carving, and they goes right into Max, just right through the door, right into Max, because he crashes right through the front door of his own house. No problem. And then, Max goes into the fireplace. And Max does not go into a fountain of blood. He goes into an inferno. He turns into an inferno in the fireplace, like a big flaming... Inferno.
Yeah.
And it brings the whole like part of the house down a little bit. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
A deus ex machina, your favorite phrase, Jordan.
Talk about a deus ex machina. This is like, talk about a way of bringing in a deus ex machina.
And then everyone is no longer a vampire, and Grandpa gets a soda, and then he gives one of the final lines. He just walks over to the fridge, grabs a soda, and gives one of the best final lines in movie history.
One thing I never understood about Santa Carla, all the damn vampires.
Yeah.
Don't. People are strange.
And
when
then
you're a stranger.
Movie over.
Look good when you're strange. Oh.
And then you get the title, Grandpa Will Return in Grandpa Vampire Taxidermist.
Yeah.
And one of the...
Why not a side movie with Grandpa? Hell.
I mean, doesn't it deserve a sequel?
I wanted more from this movie in that respect. Yeah, I wanted I know we got... What did we get? 2 sequels out of this?
Two direct-to-video sequels. I haven't seen either of them. I don't want to see either of them.
I woke up. I left my laptop on Amazon Now one night, and Lost Boys Tribes came on after what I was watching when I nodded off through. Because on Amazon Now it just plays continuously, like a TV thing. And
not a plug.
I woke up. I thought I fell asleep watching the OC. Or some shit. I thought the OC was on or something, or some Dawson's Creek show was on. And no, I woke up and I'm like, what movie is this? This is a new This is the Lost Boys sequel, Tribes? What? This doesn't feel like a Lost Boys movie at all. This is not right. I need to go to bed. Why'd I pass out drunk and leave Amazon Now on? What the fuck?
I can't even imagine. I'm. Ugh.
It was. All I remember was it was like, a guy and a girl met under the boardwalk kind of thing at one point in the movie, and it wasn't even like there was no I Still Believe concert or nothing. It was just like, oh, you're the new boy they moved in, aren't you? Hey, yeah. Santa Carlos is kind of weird. Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I don't even want to see it, but just reading about it just seemed like something I just don't want to see. It's sad. It seems sad, right?
I think your old YouTuber co-host Raul reviewed it, and he said it was bad even.
Oh, wow.
The Lost Boys Tribes sequel. But yeah, I don't think it's really...
He also reviewed the 2 Coreys, the
TV show.
The TV show with Corey Haim and Corey Feldman. They gave that 2 thumbs way up.
But no, I wish there'd been a good sequel to this movie. I wish there'd been a side movie with the Frog Brothers. I heard that was a development thing for a little bit with Warner. I don't know why. Come on, man. Did this movie not make enough money? I don't understand.
Well, we'll get to that in a minute, but Schumacher was apparently shopping around a Lost Girls sequel.
If it was him doing it, I would have taken it.
Yeah, or even the Frog Brothers sequel. I thought something...
Why not have Schumacher back even? Honestly.
I know.
Schumacher, there's not enough good things said about Schumacher. I mean, he got slammed on Batman and Robin. I kind of feel bad. Yeah, Batman and Robin's not great, but I feel bad for the way he got slammed back in 1997 when the internet was getting off its legs. And it was partly due to Ain't It Cool News. I'm going to throw stones. Yeah, there. I mean, I kind of feel bad that Schumacher got thrown under the bus the way he did. I mean, he was I always felt like he was always one of my favorite directors. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, Flatliners is a dark film too. It's an interesting movie, and he didn't mess around. St. Elmo's Fire is a great movie, even if there's just nothing but white people in the movie.
Falling Down.
My God! I mean, what a great, powerful movie with Michael Douglas. I mean, there's a lot. That movie was ahead of its time, kind of.
Yeah.
Falling Down's a powerful movie, though. I mean, he didn't just mess around. He didn't just futz around with his material on these movies he did.
Yeah. But I think this is a very well-directed film, all in all. It's very well shot, very well directed, very well acted movie.
Do you think it would have been more interesting with little kids instead, or is that just...
No. In a weird way, I kind of wish there would have been like a Frog Brothers and Monster Squad crossover sequel.
Ooh, Monster Squad. Oh, wow. Crossover.
Like Monster
that
Squad
was the same
2.
year. My God.
The Tribe.
That's what we forget. Monster Squad is the same year as Lost Boys. I mean, they have their own... That's like a Frog Brothers thing unto itself, kind of.
Yeah, like Monster Squad versus the Frog Brothers. I don't know.
These were crazy. Both summer of '87. My God, how... no wonder.
Yeah. But, I mean, there's a lot of very good things about this movie. The score, you know? that "Cry Little Sister" that we hear that 50 times. I never get tired of it in the movie.
The atmospheric
Thou
stuff.
shalt not. I mean, that's awesome. It's used perfectly.
White fire will rise behind those eyes. Oh,
karaoke with Jordan once again.
But yeah, the score by Thomas Newman, which is very atmospheric. I was listening to some of that earlier before the podcast that I found. It was never released by itself. I found some on YouTube though. But
yeah, it's a cat walking on a synthesizer keyboard in the best possible way.
Oh man, you sat on that close range review too. Oh,
and I was just like leaning on it, but it works. I love the tone. I love the atmosphere and the tone. I think it nails it as a horror movie.
Oh, totally. It is like, I mean, maybe it's not so much hardcore slasher. I don't know though. It still goes for, it's still gothic in my opinion. It's still, I don't know. You know,
it feels like it's holding back though. It's like it's holding back. I bet there was some gorier stuff on the cutting room floor, but it's almost like they're trying to walk this teen balance. Like clearly the market for this is teenagers, right?
The only stuff I saw I was watching the Blu-ray again, and the only stuff I saw on the cutting room floor was not so violent. It was just more extraneous. It was There was a point where Sam puts on the Lou Gramm song that we hear on the trailer and we hear on the motorcycle scene. Lost in the Shadows, Lost Boys. That's what the song is called. Say hello to the night, lost in the shadows.
Okay, Jordan, you can't sing the entire soundtrack, please.
Oh, yes, we'll have to pay for it. No,
there's a paywall there, and you can listen to Jordan sing the soundtrack to this movie if you join our Patreon.
But But yeah, there's a scene where Sam grabs Mom and Mikey to dance to the song, and then there's a scene where the lady in the video store that didn't have any dialogue, Kelly Jo Minter, is telling Diane Weiss' character Lucy that, like, I think Max really likes you. I can really tell he likes you. He likes your work here. And that's about it. And I'm sure there was more deleted. I wonder if there's more deleted scenes in the Warner Vault somewhere, though.
Maybe. But I like the casting. I think the casting is phenomenal. I think the acting is very good.
I agree, man. I mean, Schumacher knew how to cast, too. That was the other thing. He knew how to, like, pick his actors. No joke. I mean,
Jason Patric and Kiefer Sutherland, they just chew every scene they're in. Chew the scenery in every scene. Suck the blood out of every scene.
Yeah, these guys have great chemistry together. They apparently, I didn't even know till recently, they've always been friends. All these years, they've been friends since then. And they were friends on that movie, like to the point where Jason Patric would tell Kiefer Sutherland he smoked too many damn cigarettes back then. Apparently.
Jason Patric has a lot of suggestions for everybody.
Yeah. And even Jason Patric took Kiefer Sutherland's fiance at one point. Ooh. Sorry, that was 1990.
Long history.
Julia Roberts, yeah. Anyway, people forget.
Wow.
Kiefer and Julia were like an item. They were going to get married at one point, and then Jason Patric, and then everybody got nervous, and it became a triangle, and then, oh, never mind. Okay, I'll stay out of it. Never mind. Okay, anyway.
That should be its own movie, right there.
I want to see this movie. Kiefer Sutherland, Jason Patric, Julia Roberts, The Triangle.
Corey Haim.
The Four-Sided Triangle. Also starring
Corey Feldman.
And Corey Feldman. And Jameson Newlander as the Frog Brothers. Seems you got married to the wrong person. We're here to help. Oh, Frog Brothers, I didn't know you did this. Intervened at the last minute with weddings.
You can't stake Julia Roberts. Anyway, so the direction is good. Like I said, I love the cheesy dialogue. There's a reason why this is a classic and great viewing at Halloween. I think it's a great Halloween movie. Even if you've seen it, watch it again.
Yeah, this is the time of year to watch it. Absolutely.
Yeah. There are a few things I think upon viewing this with a more critical eye this time that I think could be improved. Like I said, it doesn't feel like a rated R. It could have been bloodier. I wish they would have gone for it a little more, like I said.
You think maybe Schumacher held back in that respect, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I think he held back in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Trying to keep it with some mass appeal, not be too horrific, and kind of balance the humor and balance the horror, which is very tough to do. But it's the 80s, so a lot of movies really kind of had that. But I think he does a good job at it. I just think that there could have been some bloodier kills. The movie promises with its premise bloodier kills.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are just not bloody at all.
I guess
It's
you're
just
right
like
a little.
somebody gets pulled off of camera, and it's like, oh, there's not even a blood splatter or anything, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And the plot, like you mentioned the plot earlier in the podcast,
Being
I
simple.
think you're right. It's a little too simple. There's the big twist at the end, right? Of Max being the head vampire, which is fine, but there needs to be a little more juice in the second act. There needs to be a little more something going on. It
This
seems like
is one of the few times, I don't mean to interrupt, I'm sorry, but when
you're
I was
fine.
a little kid, when I first saw this movie, this is one of the first times I was onto the plot. Like, I was like, oh, he's the head vampire. Max
Yeah.
is the head vampire. Like, I figured that I was a little kid before the.
Exactly. And the movie tries good for Edward Herrmann, like he is really acting, but it's just acting to a point to where it's incredulous. Like it doesn't make sense that he would be like, you boys, and once you find out later and you watch it again, you're just like, it's telegraphing that too hard. It's trying to hide its hand, but it's not very good at it. So
Yeah.
the reason is the plot is so A to B to C that obviously it has to be him. There are no other characters in this movie. There's no mystery to solve. You know what I mean?
I guess, yeah, we wanted more. You know what it is? We wanted more kills, I guess. That's what we wanted here.
We wanted more kills. We wanted more, just to see more of the town and to see.
Like, we should have seen one more kill at least. Michael
Yeah.
Witness with the boys. And then we should have seen some more, maybe hint of evil with Edward Herrmann's head vampire.
Yeah. Maybe we think Grandpa's the head vampire or something, or somebody else.
That was the interesting thing, yeah, because we still, I mean, Grandpa's so weird. But I guess Grandpa's kind of like the elder Van Helsing here.
Yeah. The old Van Helsing.
Yeah, and the kids are little Van
Seriously.
Helsings. They're little young Van Helsings.
Yeah,
You know.
little Van Helslings.
That was the original title of the script, was Little Van Helsings, by the way.
Little Van Helsings.
No, I just made that up.
a double feature with Monster Squad.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, yeah, the only adults in this movie are Mom and Grandpa and Max. So who else could it be the head vampire, so to speak? So then you have that gaping hole there. It's fine, it works, but it's a little too A to Z.
Maybe that was its origins more because of the fact that it was going to be a little kid vampire movie with Richard Donner directing, like Goonies all over again.
And yeah, Richard Donner was supposed to direct this. I thought that would have been interesting. A little more of that.
It would have been like a Goonies kind of thing, a little bit, you know.
Superman 2 vibe.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been interesting.
But he was just producer on this. And of course, Joel Schumacher got the job because of Donner's wife being a producer on St. Elmo's Fire.
Yep.
But overall, the feeling of this movie I love because it is like, it still has a Donner vibe to it.
Yeah.
And it still has it even has a Spielberg spirit to it at the same time. It's almost like Steven Spielberg and Richard Donner and Joel Schumacher made a really good vampire film.
Yeah. I wish there were more scenes with the Frog Brothers.
Yeah.
I love them and I love them talking to Sam, so I wish there was just more of them.
Why not? Yeah.
More Monster Squad moments there.
Yeah.
And also I wanted to see a lot more of Michael and Star. Jamie Gertz has like 4 lines in this movie.
Yeah, there was good chemistry between her and Jason Patric, I feel like. There really was. I mean, all cynicism aside, the way they talk to each other, the way he acts like the shy guy towards her, it comes off like innocent and natural. The way he's asking her name and she says Star and he's just like, oh, you too? my parents too were hippies, you know, that, I mean, you know.
It's a missed opportunity. I think she's just underwritten. She's just the damsel in distress, and there could have been a lot more there. And I want to see a lot more of Michael dealing with being a vampire. There could have been a few more scenes.
Yeah, more of that stuff where he could not control the fact that he has the ability to fly or float. Like stuff like that. That scene was still interesting to me. That's always been interesting to me. Because that scene, he makes it look frightening to be able to fly or float. He makes it look like, oh my God, look, you're high up off the room and you can't control that you're hanging from the ceiling. How scary if you're afraid of heights, maybe even.
I just think there's many other movies, like, I don't know why My Best Friend is a Vampire or whatever, just pop in my head. But I think there's other movies that sort of deal more or better with or equally with teen angst and being a vampire. More scenes like that, just more.
My Best Friend's
more of all the good stuff.
You were cutting deep there.
I was cutting deep with that one. Happy Halloween.
But no, The Hunger did it too. The Hunger at least showed that part.
The Hunger did as well. More
Tony
adult,
Scott
yeah.
directed. May he rest in peace.
Mhm.
Another great vampire movie, in my opinion, The Hunger. It's like the Blade Runner vampire movies. But yeah, they did show
Yeah.
the transition a little bit, at least. Although it is the same common thing in the 80s. You see sort of drug connotations involved, of course,
Yeah.
with the vampire mythos in the 80s a lot. Whether it be the junkie or somebody that just parties hardcore.
Yeah.
Party all night, rock and roll all night, sleep all day.
Yeah. That's why Julian was a vampire. Julian could have been in this movie as a lost boy. Maybe Julian's the lost boy, Jordan.
Less Than Zero is a vampire movie, isn't it? When you think about it.
In a way.
It's about Los Angeles vampires.
It definitely sucks. It sucked the life out of me. No kidding. No, but okay. Did we determine who the lost boy was or who the lost boys are? Is it Sam and Michael or is it David and the crew?
Oh, that's it. That makes it even deeper because,
Or are they all lost?
You're right. Michael's a bit of a lost boy when he meets the other lost boys, right?
Yeah.
Sam is kind of the lost boy when he meets the Frog Brothers, but then he's found.
I think the movie holds a mirror up to you, and you cast no reflection, Jordan, because we are the lost boys.
We are
the lost boys.
We are the lost boys. We are the lost crusade.
So did this movie
rake in a lot of blood at the box office?
Yeah, exactly. Did this movie drink a lot of blood at the box office? On a budget of $8, is it predictable at this point? On a budget of 8.5 million American dollars.
8.5 million? That's even less than I thought it cost.
I know.
Wow, that's like 2 million more than, no joke, the original Terminator in 1984. Yeah. 3 years previously had cost. Or man, that's amazingly low. I mean,
a cast of
there were no stars in this technically.
Yeah,
though. I guess there was no Schwarzenegger or Stallone.
A cast of unknowns, really, except for Diane Wiest, and then
everybody's getting scale.
The same sets over and over again, almost to a fault. Really,
man, 8.6 million. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make a big deal about that. I didn't realize that it was that low, though.
It brought in total, and I don't know if this is global or just in the U.S., but 32.2 million. So regardless,
it made its money back and then some.
4 times its budget.
Yeah,
that is really good. That's why everybody kind of wanted a sequel.
They should have had a sequel immediately,
Yeah. All right, Jordan. What kind of rating do you give this film?
I know this sounds crazy, even with its flaws and its the fact that, we wanted a little bit more in the end. I still give it a 9 out of 10 stakes to the heart. Because I can watch it again and again, Lost Boys. It's well shot, well acted. It looks great. It's beautifully shot in its widescreen format. And it's Joel Schumacher at his best. I'm always entertained watching Lost Boys every time.
Yeah.
It's never a downer for me. I'm never sad watching Lost Boys.
Yeah. You still believe in the Lost Boys is what I'm hearing.
I still believe.
Okay. And I give it an 8.5 out of 10. Bare-chested, oiled-up saxophonists.
Oh, damn. Now your rating is better than mine. Damn it.
Is it? Well, I don't know if that's a better thing.
8 out of 10 Capellos is your rating, huh? Oiled up 10 Capellos.
Is there any other kind? There's a reason this is a classic.
He said every convention baby oiled up even.
It's an old Tim Capello. He's like 80 now. He's still oiled up. He still believes.
Got the chains around his neck.
There's a reason why this is a classic. This is a reason why it's so watchable. It balances being like cheesy and fun and also somehow good at the same time. You got to give Schumacher the credit for that and the cast and everybody. Whatever its flaws are in my mind are just kind of minuscule.
Yeah.
Because the experience is very 80s, very Halloween, and very fun.
It is its own vampire movie. There's no vampire movie like The Lost Boys. And once again, I'm going to say it. Yeah, it has the sexiest vampires in vampire history, in my opinion. Yes, eat your heart out, Frank Langella, Bela Lugosi.
Yeah.
Rob Pattinson in Twilight.
It's like, are you an Edward or are you a David?
I'm a David. I mean, that haircut, my God. But yeah, I mean, and it's got a great fucking soundtrack. My God,
Yeah.
I have at least 2 of the songs at all times in my playlist on Spotify. Right now,
Yeah.
I have Cry Little Sister. No joke.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was great revisiting this movie. I've seen it a bunch of times, and it was great watching it again. It's never a disappointment.
Like, I had been obsessing over this movie again, oddly, that you brought it up for Halloween. So it was perfect timing, honestly.
All right. And that has been the very in-depth discussion of The Lost Boys. Thank you all for listening. We appreciate every single one of you that listens to us. And if you like this, check out our other episodes. Hopefully you'll like those too. We've done a bunch of other Halloween episodes over the years. The Devil's Reign last year, and Jordan's favorite, Howling 3, the year before.
Yes, my favorite.
And so a good movie this year. So anyway, yeah, so we hope you enjoyed this. Hit like, subscribe, whatever the good buttons are on whatever format and platform you're listening to this on. If you like this podcast, hey, tell your friends, tell your kids, tell your wife, tell vampires that tried to recruit you into their gang.
Yeah. Tell your video store boss, who might be a vampire.
and who you're trying to date.
Who you're trying to date also. Because he's so nice.
He's clean, and he looks responsible.
He looks responsible. He owns his own business right there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So what if he's a vampire? Anyway, all right. So thanks again, everyone, for listening. We hope you have a happy Halloween. And Jordan, this has been...
The Robots Took My Podcast. Anthony, you're a blood-sucking vampire. You wait till Mom finds out about this.
All trailers, clips, music, or any other copyrighted material are used sparingly, edited from their original forms, and used for the purposes of criticism, discussion, commentary, and education about these fine films.